Hey guys, remaking this because I had a burping issue, but okay. So what happened today, right? So we opened up early here, right? Um, and you can see how we rejected perfectly at the yellow tapering, and I already had this yellow tapering lined up as well as this orange, right? See how we perfectly rejected here, right? And then the next support area would have been, um, as you know, right here, right? And then if we broke below that, the next one would be right here. But ultimately this was the buying channel that we were in, so this was uh I think I said in the last video, right, if you were gonna head up, we need to wait for some tapering at the top, right? Liquidity build, and then right, then go up, right? So that's what we were looking for, regardless if you were headed up, right? Unless of course we opened higher right here, right, and bounced off yellow right here and then went up, right? So but that's not the case. We did reject here, so what we had to do was definitely wait for the liquidity build, and we actually dug pretty deep, right? I caught a 3 point trade, right? Basically a 5 figure move, right off of this right shoulder right here all the way down, right? So basically a 3 point move, and that's pretty much the trade of the day. And to even look at shorting from here, you have to realize, right, we have the yellow right here, right? So if you were headed down, we needed to wait for the left shoulder head right here, then the right shoulder forming off of yellow. And then once I saw a little bit of chop, that's when I knew there was not going to be a continuation for today, right? So really realistically, you could have stopped trading at around 130 if you understood the context. And even if, right, we still have to close the inverse cup right here, right, and then grab the liquidity from here and then head down, right? So there was many opportunities um, um, to take the trade, right? So even if you didn't catch this, the bigger move would happen right here as well, right? um, Off the inverse shoulder, right? And now I'm going to show you intraday, right? I didn't really use the 5 minute today, but yeah, as you can see, I swear to God, this wasn't even edited. I didn't even touch the 5 minute today, but see the head perfectly here, right? Then now we just have to wait for the basically the right shoulder right here, right? So pretty much that's pretty simple. Um, yeah. I'm gonna okay, show. I'm gonna show you. There might be one move that does happen. This right here, but I don't think we're gonna have enough runway. It's already 313, right? But yeah, if we did have that runway, we would have grabbed the liquidity right here, right? But anyways, so the first trade, right? It's basically the same algos over and over again, right? You just have to look at it like that, right? I didn't take the frick, frick. So you can see, right, the first trade, not the first trade, but like the structure, you can see the teal, yellow, right, and then later on the white, right? But ultimately we close the cup, inverse cup right here, handle, right? And in this handle we closed another cup right here, right? And guess what, another handle, right? Same algos, yellow, white, right? So same algos, right? um Same algos, white is still here, right? But basically when you understand this, you realize that the teal is right here, right? So the market would want to grab the liquidity off of here, right? So the structure would still form, and you just have to be patient and wait for the structure to form, right? So you have the yellow right here, right? So first you have to wait for the cup, inverse cup, to close right here, handle, right? And then that's what, another inverse cup, right? Then again, look at that same thing that happened right here. You see the teal, the inverse cup right here, same thing, teal, inverse cup right here, handle, right? And then that was the basically the trade, right? And you could have also entered right here. This was a pretty good risk to reward, because you notice the teal was right here, right? um and you noticed this was a pretty good area to take the trade, this right shoulder, right? Because um, sometimes, right, when you take the trade, sometimes the price would start moving up, right? And basically you can set a stop loss here, and um, it wouldn't get triggered. But normally, when you take trades, right, and for example, if you take it in the yellow, right, they can build liquidity like up to here, right, and it can hit your stop, and you can get stopped out when the market was just going deeper and building the liquidity, right? So you have to be really careful, and that's why um, I did take this when I saw the break right here, as well as with the teal right here, and you can see how we basically uh, rejected teal right here. Same thing that happened here, right? Inverse cup, right? Rejected teal right here, right? You can see that, right? Same thing right here. So if you, all you needed to see this, right, and then you trade that, right? This right here, right? And I actually took an open position right here. If you want the trade confirmation, let me know. But basically 3-point move, right? And you add on more right here. So also right here, you can see how the volume started rising here as well, right? Right here, so it was a great entry for me personally. And then again, your stops would be right here, right? So, and you know the liquidity would build under the teal, right? So you were pretty safe. And then also right here, you notice the volume spikes right here, right? And that gave us with the strong selling, right? I don't know where the hell that happened to the red, but strong red selling, right? And then again, what you had to look out for was really the next support, and that's where it brings me to the blue right here that was here. So that was the target, as well as you just look at the 30-minute and you just look at where the next support is, and it's here, right? So you have to be careful. And if you even did pay attention to the 5-minute, right, same thing right here. See, the next support is right here, right? So pretty, and that's where you take profits, right? And wait for the next structure. And if the next structure did form, right, we would have basically gotten this left shoulder, head, and this right shoulder right here, right? But the market wanted to chop, build that liquidity, and possibly drop like that, right? So yeah, the market is revealing itself too, right? I really don't, like I tell you guys, you don't know how the market will build the liquidity or how deep it will go, right? Um, uh, right. So that's why you always want to pay attention to the structure, as well as um, figuring out your algorithm, so you are not getting caught up, right? And you don't overtrade. Um, and it's important to know that, like, for example, like I told you guys, like, right, for example, if you, oh frick, so if you, for example, what's the best way to show this, right? You see how even if you saw, I don't know how to explain this to you guys, right? Oh, okay. Fuck. Like, okay, for example, even like these algorithms, right? For example, you did get that, right? But for this right shoulder, right, you don't know how deep how much of the liquidity the market can build, right? On this right shoulder, the market can be like, we're gonna build another microstructure, right? So that's what I'm saying. Be careful when you're uh, basically basing the trades right there, right? Wait for basically the right shoulder, and if to form that might I don't know how to make it sense. God, I suck at teaching, but yeah, that's what I was trying to say for here, right? The best example is the 1 minute, right? You can see how right here, right, we rejected the teal, right? Same thing right here, right? We rejected the teal. So the market wasn't basically chopping up. Yeah, okay. So you see how right here, right? Left shoulder right here, right? But the market started chopping up, right? And you really don't know how much the market will chop up, right? You don't know how, when it's like, right? You don't know that stuff. So it's very important to look at the key levels and wait for the break below the last area of support, and then take the trade, right? So if that makes sense, if you guys understood. But anyways, yeah, that's the video for today. And oh god, where to go from here, right? We gotta clear this chart out. Okay, so from here, right, we are setting up a pretty good bear flag. Left shoulder, head. This right, if the right shoulder forms right here, right, and then grab the liquidity right here, right. Close the inverse cup right here. Grab the liquidity, and then go down. 5-day will start moving up, right, like right here. Then use the 5-day as some sort of resistance right here, and then start heading down and closing the cup right at the liquidity levels, for example right here, right. Next level would be like right here, right. So there's a lot of levels here, but ultimately this is the key level with the most liquidity, and then we can basically head out pretty well. But you should wait. I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen here is, right, we close this cup at the 20-day, wherever 20-day comes in, right. If it comes up at the 589, 588 level, right, or 590, right. So these three levels, right, you gotta pay attention to where that's where the 20-day will be, and that's where we close the cup, right. So anyway, and then if we do break below, right, we have to wait for the rejection of 20-day, right. So wait for some rejection, then we can head down, right, close the cup, right. So pretty much that's pretty simple. And then you can also, to be fully short, right, just and have some swing positions, wait for basically the close of the cup right here, right, and then the handle. But yeah, and what if you're headed up? Sure, basically pretty simple, pretty easy, right. We either left shoulder, head, and then bounce up tomorrow, right. And basically then complete the cup, right, and then have another microstructure right here, right, and then start pushing up, right. That's so that. But if you want to dig deeper, right, we can always dig deeper, like I said, right. Then dig deeper, and then use the 5-day as some sort of support, bounce out 5-day. Same thing right here, grab the liquidity right here, grab the liquidity right here, right, and then head up, right. Same thing, but if we're just digging deeper, right. So that's pretty much it. Pretty simple, pretty easy. See you guys tomorrow.